thanks for showing me that.
That's why I was kind of like, I want to stop it, yeah, a couple of places where I found it.
All right, I guess Mark Jakewith is, won't be here this evening.
Yeah.
Have a motion to open the April 1st meeting. Will the planning board, please?
I move that we open the April 1st planning board meeting.
I have a second.
Second.
All right, second by Steve Casiotis, motion by Chris Thornton. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the April 1st Valley Planning Board meeting is convened. This is a continued public hearing for site plan review for 56 Newburyport Turnpike, Mark Savory, property owner. And Liz is here, right? Okay. From Clearwater Environmental, Dupre, right?
Yes.
Okay. Larry Graham, our technical review agent, is also here. Liz, have you had a chance to review report number 5?
Yes.
Do you have any comments on it?
No, I guess I'm just gonna wait to see what the discussion is. It seems to me that everything has been addressed. It's just a potentially discussion by the board on some of these subjects.
Larry, basically, we'll go through 3 and 11. We're just, we talked about having some screening of the building from Route 1.
Correct. On that slope in front of the building?
Right, because of its situation on the hill, it makes it very prominent, and also is in compliance with some of the Raleigh zoning landscape requirements for commercial buildings.
You know, 3 and 11 and 10 are really about the board looking at the landscaping in its entirety and being satisfied that, you know, you've looked it over and that's what it is. And in front of the building as well as the rain gardens, and that's where most of it happens.
And in the full-size set of plans, I believe, what, 4 pages?
Yes.
The full-size set here, you guys received, well, you have full set. So it's on page 2. I see that you complied with trying to, instead of having just a row, you tried to stagger them to provide additional screening.
Yes.
And those will consist of white pine. I'm trying to look.
Where's the legend for this?
There is one thing on the last page.
I see 3 trees, so basically there's only 3 white pine and the rest are shrubberies.
It's C4 really, it's a landscape plan and
What,
the
this-
plant
this-
list is right there in the center.
So there's 3 white pines at 3 to 4 feet and 11 shrubs at 3 to, are those junipers really 3 to 4 feet? Can you get them at that?
Yes.
I know there's a zillion kinds of junipers, but are these, can you explain these junipers to us?
Unfortunately, I can't personally, Tom spec that out. I can't speak to that. I mean, I can tell you that if you put them on there and that's the size, then
Larry,
I
can you tell-
wouldn't question that, but,
Yeah,
I
because
wouldn't-
junipers are a shrub. Go ahead.
Actually, I only want to, Larry, can you give me an estimate of how much land we're talking about that is covered by these the landscaping area?
Yeah, I think the building is, what, 128 feet long?
Right.
Or am I confusing that from another?
No, no.
120?
No. No.
What's the building?
Mark, there's no dimension on the building on the plan? Wait,
There is.
there's gotta be.
And in the application.
Wait, it's not, but not on the plan, why is it not? Because you don't know yet?
It's 125.
125. Yeah, so it's roughly that length
I
of
mean,
building.
that seems like an awfully small amount of shrubs to fit that area. We're talking about, 2 dozen maybe. So that's 2 plants every 10 feet, staggered regardless. It seems like that might not be enough. I also had a question about where you're going to be regrading the surface where the existing driveway existed. Are you planning on, including any loam or any, anything to, you can't just put these plants on the former hard pack that was there, so you have to make some accommodations to have that removed and then refilled, I think, right?
Right, and if you look, there's an evergreen planting spec on there. as
It's
to
on,
what
it's
we-
on, it's on page 4.
Yeah.
Fixing that topsoil and seed.
That's a good point. So you have three, right in the middle, you have 3 white pines,
I think we've got,
and then you got the rest of junipers, right?
Yeah,
So you don't know much about,
sure.
you got evergreens, but I guess I should know more about the juniper.
Well, yeah, I mean, junipers come in all different shapes, so I don't know, and I don't know what these particular ones are, but.
Have you looked at, do you know what you're buying?
I'd like to get some that grows tall enough to cover.
Yeah, but what, do you know what you're, I mean, you have your people putting in 11 junipers, okay? Do you know what they are?
I don't know what the names are, no.
Well,
I
they're
said
right
make
on
sure
here.
they grow tall enough, 4 or 5 feet tall
Some grow,
minimum.
some are upright and some are
They
low to
just
the
spread.
ground, you know?
No, they're not low growing.
Um,
no.
I mean, I think you need more,
They need more height.
you need more white pines. I would get rid of some of the junipers and add more white pines, which, really do grow tall and they do spread.
And they grow, if there's any moisture at all, they grow rapidly, you know that.
Right.
If there's sun too, I mean, in the shade, they get straggling, they don't. but
Yeah, they get some
You
there.
get plenty of sun there, I know
Yeah.
you do, so,
Yeah, it does.
because that's.
Yeah, it's
plenty.
my face, yeah, over the last couple of days.
Yeah, there's plenty of sun there. But Liz, I mean, the junipers at 3 to 4 feet, where did,
What do you buy? Oh,
I didn't see it.
Again, I have to, Tom spec those in, unfortunately, he's not here tonight.
But
to,
Tom's
address
Tom's a CE, right?
A PE,
PE, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Civil engineer, well, PE.
yeah, civil engineer.
Yeah, so professional. Did he consult somebody about those?
I don't know. No,
Moon glow. Larry, do you know anything about these?
No, I do not.
You got,
I don't know what they are either, and I have a lot of
I mean, I know-
junipers in my yard, but I don't.
and so do I, but
So, I mean, they could be anything,
Is there still gonna be a site visit?
Moon glow juniper?
well, we could
you know,
still,
what we could do is, there's the moon glow juniper, there's a whole line of them all along the building. If you look,
And they're probably.
the Mountbatten juniper are down lower, and the Moonglow juniper are up back. And what we could do is, instead of putting Moonglow juniper up back, we could make those all white pine.
Against the building, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
oh, I don't know if you don't want white pine right against the building. Larry.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
they're
your-
not right
there's your
against the
moon
building,
glow.
but they're close.
Oh, is that, okay.
Sorry about the phone thing, but I just typed it in quick. 'Cause
Okay.
I was just thinking, I'd like to have Christmas trees there, but that's kind of what it looked like, think about it.
Well, that's
Looks like
a,
it-
that's a nice, okay,
looks
so
like
that has
Christmas
more of an
tree.
upright tree
Yeah.
look then.
Right.
That's got that, okay.
Is there any way that?
I would never put a low growing, that's ridiculous.
What about the other one, Mark?
Here,
You
look.
pulled the other one up, the
Yeah,
Mount
that's, thank you for showing that one. Okay, what's the other one?
Juniper?
Can we get them to submit?
Is that something to deal with,
Like a sample?
You know what?
What's that, the
cut
moon
sheet
glow?
or something?
Yeah, I asked
so that when
Amy
they plant them,
next
we can,
door, she come
do
over
it once in
'cause,
a while and make sure that that's
from
what
dog
it's
schools,
actually-
whatever. But I says I can't
No, it
put,
is what it is.
whatever they were there, I don't know what they were now. But she says, yes, you can put those there because I have a whole row for 10 years right there. I didn't even notice it. She has like,
That, given us-
I didn't even know that. She goes, for some reason deer don't come down and eat them. I don't know why.
Can you look up the other one?
Yeah.
Kinda hard to take a vote and have a commentary unless I know what it is.
Batten, Mountbatten.
Hopefully I can spell that.
now, does that land abut Huntsville Road?
Mark, if you,
No, I don't think so.
Mountbatten juniper.
if when you come to those, if you can actually email those to
Oh.
the planning
I'm thinking about,
email address.
He did a nice
Take
job,
that
actually.
as a
Morris Ridge.
file, if they're satisfied with
It seemed like there's a.
Oh.
I didn't, sorry. I guess that's okay. Go ahead, Beth.
Which one is that?
That's the Mountbatten.
Oh, those are upright too. You have a lot of upright pines there.
That's a tight one. They're actually a lot tighter than white pine.
Are these gonna be saplings, or are they?
Well, I was thinking white pine wouldn't really work, because after a few years, you know, right here is where the branches and there's nothing.
Well, yeah, it depends.
Yeah, eventually they'll drop.
Yeah,
over, right?
and they grow little big bohemians.
Yeah, but
and they
these
tip over
these
on
could
the
fill
roof.
in while they're.
Yeah, those will
active.
fill in.
Are you gonna plant these as saplings, or are they
Those are
gonna
nice.
be?
No, they're probably 4 or 5 feet high.
Okay.
Like,
It says, he's got specking out here 3 to 4 feet for all of the plants.
Can you send, I was just gonna suggest that if you're satisfied with those, just have them submit like pictures of them, like it, or specs on the. so that we can have them.
I think if you got,
Yeah, the thing is, this doesn't seem like enough to
It's
just
not
naming
great.
it on the site.
Well, no, that's usual. we
That's
get.
what we usually do.
Kind of like
No,
Christmas
it's not-
City.
But we wanna have
You know,
like some kind of
Larry, is
pictorial.
that enough
They kind of
level?
like
Window
Christmas
will-
Eve.
Level from that
Later
level
A
of
lot
the
of times
house?
people do that, yeah.
The stones going back.
the houses?
No, when you get to the house level,
Yeah,
then the next level where this building's supposed
yeah,
to go,
right,
right?
right.
And it's another level above that, right?
Yeah, there's nothing proposed for that. Just
Is,
keep going on
is
up.
that being used for anything now, way up top?
We don't have to deal with that later.
We can deal with it later.
No, because when we get more information. Can we still, I wanted to propose also, just, Mark, can people go out there briefly? It's not necessarily going to have a lot to do with, you know, Kirk has a certificate of vote draft that he's written up for conditions for this particular, to close out this one. But I still think we wanted to follow up with a, you know, a site to just get some idea of what else is going on the site. You haven't received any more information.
Was I supposed to do something else?
No, I mean, just to try to,
I don't know.
we're trying to wrestle with Mark, you know, some of whether, and with Ken Ward also, some of the other uses that have been there for how long, whatever, and how intense they are, and whether they produce much traffic, or if they're not intense, then.
I can definitely tell you they produce zero, almost zero traffic.
Right, so they're not.
Very, 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 very.
But we had been trying to.
Not once a day, not that often.
We had been trying to schedule, I mean, if you plan on developing further up in another way, you're gonna have to go.
I don't think that will
Not-
happen.
Well, I mean, you've set some of the stage here already, so when, you know, you're not gonna have to like go through it.
It's a nightmare hill.
No.
Oh, boy.
There's stuff up there now,
Well,
and
do you
they're
feel
filling it
compelled,
out, right?
you
Yeah,
feel-
but if you're actually gonna, like,
you
build
feel
a
compelled to
building,
go back
it's
out
like-
there?
You'd have to make some
Larry, you went
concern
out
with
there with
road,
Mr.
you'd
Ryan.
never, it would just be a nightmare.
What's up there now?
That one.
Just
But you also
landscape
met
stuff.
with maps with.
What's that?
Landscapers.
No.
Which I've already,
On
he's got a list.
the, on the top level, the very top?
He's got a list, yeah.
I haven't announced it.
Yeah.
That's all
They're
landscape?
just guys from
Right, you
Rowley
would know
and
passions.
Newbury,
That was here.
usually,
That was me.
What are you gonna put in this building that you're building?
That's where they're gonna go.
They're gonna go in there?
Yeah, so there's probably gonna be
All right, Kirk, do you have,
not much going on up there at all.
all right, I want,
The deer.
so, I want to go back to, all right, we're dealing with the landscaping. I'm satisfied with those plantings. I mean, now seeing them, they're upright, they're dense. I don't know how fast they grow, junipers. I mean,
And actually, that's the one thing I was gonna ask, on the plant list, is it possible or reasonable to think that we can get a mature height on the plants? To know what they'll be at a mature, growth rate? I mean, because these are all pretty small initially, but,
I mean, how high they will be?
right, how high they will be.
Well, you
The
know
white,
what?
yeah, the white pines will be very tall
Okay.
eventually.
Junipers usually don't grow as fast.
No,
Like a foot a year, more or less.
If you're lucky, yeah.
Yeah, on a white
Kind of
pine.
like
Maybe
arborvitae.
6 inches a year.
Uh-huh.
I
Well,
mean, we should know from,
looking at, but I'm,
if Mark can go, Mark, can you look up, I'm sorry to bother you, can you look up the, what's the name of the plant again?
Moon glow,
Moon glow juniper.
mature height, the moon glow.
The moon glow juniper, and see what the mature height is?
Oh, yeah.
It'll tell you. And height and width too.
right.
I mean, I don't know,
Oh,
I mean, actually, it looked like a pretty,
Yeah.
broad
Mountbatten
tree
or
at
what?
a
Look
mature,
them both up. I'll
Height
look
and,
them both
uh,
up, but what were you
guys
looking at?
did.
Mountbatten.
where it's 125 feet. I know Larry said he'd want to have at least 18 plantings in there. I think the plan they have is just calls for 15. I'm just wondering if that is going to fill it in. I mean, I guess we're not trying to entirely shade it.
not entirely, but yeah, but,
Well, what you have there, of course, is the building, the side of the building, and you also have about 7 feet, perhaps about 7 feet of concrete from finished grade to where you start your steel building, that concrete.
Okay. So that's a
Foundation.
pretty big
So
area.
that was my concern, that, you know, you're not gonna see a painted building or a metal building, you're gonna see bare concrete perhaps, and I think these plants, you know, what I saw in the picture, looked like they might do the trick. I don't know about the density or the number of them, certainly they're a nice full.
The moon glow grows to 20 feet and 8 feet wide.
Wow.
Well, you want my opinion? I think we should listen to what Kirk said and get some kind of a picture or description to include with the material, so that we know exactly.
For follow-up.
For follow-up.
It says 15 feet wide.
All right.
I mean, it's easy to do, they just have
Yeah.
to print out that.
Yeah.
So-
They could actually just send it to me.
Yeah, so the file, so if things die, I mean, there'll be no question as to what.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15
I
feet.
think-
What we
30 feet
intended.
tall,
Okay.
Yeah,
15
I just
feet
think it's
wide.
good for
With
us.
15 feet wide, obviously, if it goes to that dimension, that's do the trick. If
No.
not,
That'll
you know.
take a long time.
Right,
The
right.
white pines will grow a lot quicker.
Yeah, that's what-
12 feet tall, 8 feet wide? Which one?
I think that's all, it's just different reviews.
Larry, should we add a couple more white pine?
I kinda think we should,
All right, throw in,
at least 2 more, so you have 5 there.
yeah, one on the,
One on
if
the
you can
end.
do, if you're facing the building, one on the right, and one to move the other one to the left and kind of fill in until the other ones take over.
Where do
Because
you
you only
want?
have 3. Just like to see an addition of another couple white pines. Larry's initial recommendation was to have about 15 plantings and.
Now, you can't really see this in the road. Like when you're driving by, try to turn your head at even 40 miles an hour. You don't even see that there. It's really like, it's like if this was right on Route 1, like Dunkin' Donuts, you know, absolutely.
Right.
What's in front of it then?
How would I get a mural painted? I could like the old Nancy on the concrete with like, you know, original
Let's
Indians.
Right, if
Let's
you-
stick to it, Mark.
Like over there.
Let's stick to the landscaping. If you want to do a mural, you know,
Well, if you are looking from the road
your artistic
too,
side can express
That'd be
itself.
cool.
It's your property.
the hill comes up and then there's a building there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the parking. And then, so when you're looking up from the road, you're actually, some of your view is already
Obscured by the slope.
by the building and that's already
So the
there.
existing building, and then you have, above that though, there's parking, right?
Yep,
And there's any number of vehicles in there, right?
yep,
Okay, and that's what's really obstructing this swale area?
from down
Because
below.
because the
you
trucks,
down below
because
on-
the trucks all
in the
block that
road.
view, I see.
On the line of
How
sight.
high, but the grade there changes by a good 12 or 15 feet before you
Box
plateaus
trucks are-
off again where you're building,
Box
right?
trucks are like 13 feet tall.
But your line of sight from down on the road too, I mean, look at how far down on the road you are.
Okay, that's a point taken. I would rather have him, you know, just make sure that they take and then they're maintained. Unlike some of the things we noticed when we were out there before.
I don't think that adding 2 white pines is a big deal,
No.
though, I mean, you know.
The thing is, it cost me another $1,000 in plan changes, and,
No, you don't have to,
you know, I
no,
have
you
to
don't
redraw
have to
the plan
change,
now.
you don't have to change the plan.
Don't have to ever redraw it?
No, it can just be in.
You can add a,
They just add the
do it with
condition
a
or
condition.
something?
No, it's just, it can just be part of the
Okay.
vote, it's fine. No more,
Okay.
no, you don't have to read.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah, I know.
No. Just we'll make a note or initial or whatever, you know.
Yeah, and I am concerned that they take 2, so.
He's got good taste, huh?
I appreciate you looking those up,
Really?
though. I feel much better about seeing those.
We're glad we could.
Well, I had no clue, I mean.
Yeah, I never heard of it, he's got nice taste, that's really nice stuff.
All right, Larry, what's the?
Can I decorate them in the winter, or is that? okay
4A
with
and B, yeah, you have.
4A and B is about the building itself. When I talked to Mark last week, I think it was, well, the plans indicate that there would be a flat roof here on this, a gable roof, excuse me, on this building. And that's important. because-
Again, that's on page 2, it says proposed building with gable roof and gutters.
This is
And it's also on page 4. But the importance of that is that the north side
He's saying it
and the
has to.
south side of the building will be guttered to the west so that it goes to the infiltration chambers. So Mark was, when I talked to him, thought, geez, I'm planning a flat roof, how do we get to a gable roof? It could be a flat roof, and most commercial buildings like this probably are a flat roof, or with some pitch. But the importance is that however they do it, that they split the drainage 50-50 to go the way they've got this designed, and with the overflows, that they go to those two different infiltration chambers. So I'm not exactly sure how that would be handled. I just put that comment in there to be sure that.
Without a gable roof, that's difficult.
Well, when we were talking last week, Larry, you said that they have a D-box system where the water goes in, and then
Yeah.
half the water goes towards the back, and then the other half goes towards the front.
That
Does that
can
make
be-
sense?
Oh, that can be done.
Yeah,
There's
that's
ways to
what I
do
wanted
a
to do,
flat roof.
obviously.
I just wanted understood by the board and you that the drainage has to be collected from the whole roof,
Yeah.
carried to the west end, and then split. And it can be done the way you said,
Yeah.
that we talked about.
Obviously an important point, and I think that we can do that with a condition, right?
I think you can, yeah.
Actually put a condition.
So you want a flat roof, you're doing.
Well, what I'm worried about is safety, first of all. If you have a gable roof, I've seen so many, how many times you turn on the news this year and ice is coming down and smashing people's cars? If all the ice goes, slides the back of the roof, I mean, my father had a little place and he built his garage, it all goes, it's never in the way, it's just going right back. There's no chance of it coming down and crashing into somebody and
Well,
killing
it can be a shed roof pitched toward the road.
Yeah, well,
With
that's.
a slight pitch,
it's
a
like- yeah,
slight
it's a
pitch on
slight
the shed
pitch.
roof. And then you take it out by a gutter all to the west
Yeah.
end, and then split it to
Yeah.
the two systems. Now, you know, what we're doing here is talking about leaving a lot of this up to how these things get done in the field, which means me or somebody's gonna have to be out there to see if we do this in writing rather than on a plan, and maybe even on a plan two, that it gets done this way. So just so everybody knows where we're going with this.
So just not something easy to verify, so that would have to be
Well, I
something
think-
that
Okay.
I could take pictures when it's done.
No, we'll deal with it in the field. You're just
Well, you
gonna,
can come
we're just
out
gonna have to make
check
sure
it
that
out.
it works.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll be working with the building inspector,
Yeah.
that it's going to work according to the planning board certificate of vote. And if it doesn't, you won't get your CO till it does. So
That's fair.
Yep.
is that all right? I mean, we'll just work with this. We've done that before, like in, other site, not to be named, but,
Yeah.
As long as the conditions are as clear as you can make them, because the picture's worth 1,000 words. that kind of thing.
yep. I mean, you can have the right based on your budget, but, you know, you're committed to draining it into these, building it, the drainage according
yeah.
to this. Because that's also an approval, is a conditional, the Conservation Commission is looking for this as well.
Now, that
And
stuff is important.
everybody wants it to work. Nobody wants it to
That's
fail.
important.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I don't want to have.
because they're the ones that are in charge, I mean, we're working with them on stormwater, and so, you know, if it's all guttered to one side and the other one's not doing anything, that wasn't the plan. You had the right to draw the plan up with your people, and this is what you came up with. If you want to change it, then we're going to continue it again.
Not really.
Well, it's up to you.
No, I also want it to work, but I know it will work, because
But, I mean-
Larry mentioned the other day that it would work.
But you shouldn't act surprised, Mark, you know,
I'm not
when
surprised.
when your group is putting on the plan gable roof, and then you go, well, I didn't know that. I mean, you're the one. that
Yeah.
did it. I mean, that's for you to figure out with your group before you come to us. We don't figure out what kind of building you're building.
Point taken.
All right, same comment, so on number 9, that's
Number 9's,
this is referencing, so the board members know, this is referencing the, let me find it.
February 13th.
Find it, wait a second. God, I have like 100 of these. Not one of these ones. Does everybody have their February 13th in front of them? Except for me. Here we go, okay. You have it? Sorry about that, okay. Go ahead, Larry.
That's number 9, that's about site signage. The plan sheets say that there'll be no additional site signage, and I just made the comment that any approval action that the board takes should include that as a condition. And then if Mark wants to put more signage up later, you can always come back to the board.
And if these are conditions, this is your chance to comment, or,
No, I don't mean, I don't.
because they're gonna be incorporated in Kirk's already,
I put it-
Kirk already has a draft, and he put it in as, because we're trying to get it so we give you the you know. So,
Number 10 is about the landscape again, so I think we've covered
we
that.
covered that, okay.
Number 12 just talks about the fire department and water department approvals, because they have this, they've got a new domestic water service shown coming up. I don't know if you're gonna sprinkle that building or not. It's probably not big
It's small,
enough
it's
to
under
require it.
7,500 square feet.
Yeah, I don't think it
I
requires
just
it.
sent the last revision to the fire department. They came
Why
back
they
and
skip
said they
6,
were
7,
pleased with it.
Oh, okay, so the fire department signed up.
Those are- It's already been resolved, that's all.
Is waiting, I guess, for them to apply.
Well, you can go back to him, you're, wait a second, let's just get through what Larry's I'm going through Larry's note, if you
So we'll
want.
do that as a condition.
I did notice on this last set of plans, something about a well, and I think I found it, I forget where I found it. What is the purpose, intent, and so forth of that? It's pretty-
I've been talking to some well companies and the Raleigh Water Department and some local contractors in town, Dana Warren, you know, some respected people. That's why maybe thinking I should go with a well, but I really haven't gone either way.
All right, so,
I'll just, you know, that's on the plan. Now, do I, if I was gonna do a well, do I come back in front of the board? Or do I just do a
I
well
don't
later on?
think you need
so-
to. I don't think so. I think that, I don't know where the water line is, I think it's on your side of the street, if you're gonna go into Route 1 with that new service.
Yeah, it could be right
I
there.
think it's right on in the shoulder on your side.
It's that kind of pipe, he said that if you touch it, it disintegrates. Whatever kind of stuff that is.
I don't think so,
Weird
because I think
tar
that line
paper.
was put in by Forest Ridge, so I think you're good.
No, we hit it. Jay Karam hit it. He was
Yeah.
doing the pond, yeah. He just barely touched it. And didn't do anything, but he's like showing me some masonite or some
what, that black?
tar
pipe?
paper, I don't know what the
That
heck.
black pipe,
Yeah, it's not metal, I don't think. It's something, I don't know, it could be. It's just, he said it was really weird stuff.
Hmm.
Some masonite or samsonite, I don't know.
well, that,
Anyway, it was weird.
well, you don't have to deal with
Then he
it.
hit a gas line because National Grid marked the gas line wrong. I'll never forget
All right,
that.
well, let's, I mean, you have to deal with these, and this is,
He marked it on the wrong side of the catch basin.
So I guess it's gonna be a whole new tap and everything else. You can defer that to the water department and fire department, I think.
yeah, we're just gonna make sure in our permit that it just complies with water department, you know, with appropriate regulations, just to cover. So that we acknowledge that you're still in a state of trying to find out.
And then lastly, 13 is, I think you should make your approval subject to Mass DOT. And although there is no new curb cuts proposed here, it's a change in use, and I think that Mark is obligated to file with them for a change in use, and it's probably not gonna do anything, probably not gonna change anything for you.
I don't really want to deal with the DOT, and I'm not changing the use. I'd
Well,
like to put that on TV that I am not changing the use.
you were
I just-
expanding the
I'm not.
use, you're
I'm
expanding
not
the use.
changing,
Well,
because like sometimes the
It's
DOT
gonna-
could take years.
Mark, I'm just saying,
nothing,
no, it's not gonna
weird.
take years, and it's gonna be in your permit, because it's what happens with every business on Route 1 that,
Even if you're not doing any more traffic or.
you can say you're not changing the use, but you already have also said on TV that you allowed on the plan a building that you're not even gonna build according to this plan. So we're gonna,
I did?
we're gonna put the, yeah. You said you wanted a flat roof, and now you have a gable roof in your plan. So obviously you're not, you're gonna say that on TV that you're not gonna change the use, but you're not even sure what kind of building you're gonna build.
Oh, yeah,
So-
you know what, I should.
So we're gonna,
plan.
we're gonna say that it's
That.
most likely a change in use, so we're gonna err on the conservative side.
And then the other part of that is Mass DOT for the road opening permit for the water service if he doesn't, if he puts it with.
And to be honest, it doesn't take, our experience is that it doesn't take long. So-
It can tag you up for a couple of months, but.
For you,
But no, it's not like
It
you're
should be.
saying, it's not a couple of years, because
Well,
We have done
Especially
it.
something like this, it's not a new curb cut.
we've done a number of buildings in the last year or so, and none of them were held up.
Really?
in a construction by then.
Addition or-
Because by the time you get your building permit, you get your construction, you also have your, if you don't get a hold of them for 4 months, you're gonna hold yourself up, so.
What do they need?
That's right.
They just look at the plan and,
What, Larry, can you,
I can ask Larry that.
yeah, can you just?
What's the Mass DOT
elaborate?
gonna require, like, what do they have
It's
to
an
show them?
application, it's a curb
Online?
cut, road opening.
Did you write the
application.
place down in Raleigh, the Raleigh Barns?
No, it's the northeast region, District 5, I
Can you
think.
help?
So it's
with
actually a
that?
road opening
I don't
application.
think that's my job.
Well,
I do 'em,
well,
so
just-
I-
Yeah,
I
just-
think that's the
Well,
job
just
of
give
his
them kind-
engineer.
well, just kind
Yeah.
of, in terms of just.
I guess, I think what Mark's asking though is, do you think he'll need more engineering plans to submit that application?
Well, I mean, they require, you gotta put the highway station on it, you gotta show what station your driveway's on, you can't have any drainage going, I mean, it's an application and, you know, when I do plans like this, I generally have to take a plan sheet and then I have to change it for the MassDOT application.
And when we did 4 Main Street, we required the same DOT permit because they changed the use there, right?
For the salon.
Yeah,
Because I know we were talking, he had to go to DOT to get that curb cut permit for there.
I don't know,
I think he was doing it.
That was all about parking along the curb and changing the curb.
Was the radius they had to go for.
But everyone that's been done on Route 1 has to do.
So basically, the Dunkin' Donuts Plaza, whenever Tony Yanis has an empty, like one of his insurance, you know, the eye doctor left. Now, he just had a different business going there, he just changed the use. He needs to go to Mass DOT,
Well, no, he didn't, it's still retail use, you know.
but it's a different use.
But it's not a use that requires I mean, it's,
Like what if a wholesale guy moves in there and wholesales, who knows, baseball cards? Is that
Mark,
a change of use?
if you have Tom or yourself get a hold of Mass DOT and tell them what you're doing and can convince them that it's not a change or an increase in use, I think all this board's gonna say is subject to Mass DOT approval. And if they don't, if their approval is fine the way it is, then the
I'm just
board-
worried that I'm gonna wait for him, I know I can't start a building at all until like
Here.
August, if I
Hey,
start,
Mark,
and they say
every
no.
business on Route 1 has gone through the same thing. I know you feel like you've been grandfathered a zillion years.
No, it's
So you're
not
not
that,
used
it's
to-
just,
You can talk about, even across the street, the same thing.
I just wish I knew that was gonna be a part of this,
Tony, whatever his name there.
like months ago.
Yeah.
Tony Hurley, same thing, and
The ice
Tony
cream
Ennis.
place.
ice cream, same thing.
Oh, the ice cream guy had to do it?
Yeah.
Yep.
The little tiny ice cream shed
Yeah.
there?
I mean, it's definitely a change of use, there's no issue about that.
Well,
It's
they
hard to say,
totally,
isn't
they totally reconfigured
Not
it.
the ice cream use.
The ice cream did also two different,
Yeah.
they brought in a bunch of public, okay, and Mass DOT tries to make sure the public is safe, okay? There was several new curb cuts there, several new openings, a whole new traffic
Oh,
flow.
you're talking White Farms.
No,
I
no,
thought you meant the little
no,
tiny
no,
Are
ice
you,
cream
are you
place.
listening, are you
Downriver.
listening to me? There were a
Yeah.
whole new
Mike
traffic
Farms did
flow
too.
for the
I
public
did that.
Was
on
it big,
Route
right?
1.
Yeah.
And Mass DOT has, Raleigh doesn't, they have purview over Route 1. We don't, the planning board, it's not us. It's a state road.
So the state.
You're acting like it's,
No, no.
you're acting like it's Dodge Road, it's Route 1.
No, it just seems, no, it just didn't make sense to me.
Well, it's Route 1. You know, it goes from Key West to Maine.
It's like about building an apartment building or something out back.
Well, you take
That's
it
a
up with
change of
them.
use, you know.
You take it up with them, not us. I'm not here to argue about whether Route 1 is a state road.
I'm not.
And the regulations, if you want to take it up with them, go online and take it up with them, send them an email. We're obligated to do our job, and that's it. So, and that's just, I mean, and also to listen to an engineer that has about 35 years' experience in doing it. Or more.
Can I ask you, Larry, how long do you think it would take me if I started, if I handed the application in like a week?
Maybe a couple of months.
And do they say no very often on a case like this?
They might say right up front, no, you don't need it. That's what I would do. I'd get a hold of them at, District 5 and say, look, this is what I'm doing. They might say, bring your plans down, show them to us.
Have you ever heard them say just like something, a change like this, like, nope, you can't do it, and then I can't, then if I build a building or start doing anything now, I just.
Just go talk to them.
That's
Mark.
all I'm worried
I
about.
can't-
That's rather
I don't have a crystal
speculative.
ball.
I
I
know.
can't tell you.
I mean, if the ice cream place that everybody else got it, I mean, Why can't you?
I don't
As
know,
long
you
as
wanna
you go by
ask
the-
businesses?
No, I thought you meant the ice cream place, a quarter of a mile from me.
And that's the one we do need.
That's the one
Oh,
we
he had to
do.
get a curb cut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No,
all
we didn't have
but
to get a
one.
curb cut
It's all
permit.
but one.
Let's, you talk,
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
no, I
change
understand
that
that, I didn't know we had to.
I wanna
didn't know
stay
we had to.
focused on this, okay, Mark? So that's why we had to go through this. Okay, are there any other?
That was it, of the
You
last
have any
report.
questions?
Well,
Don't be scared.
I'm just,
No.
on the fence with the whole project.
Well, okay, well, that's too general, so do you have any specifics on,
What, about this in general?
no, just in terms of the other comments from Larry's
Well,
February 13th?
well.
And the reason I'm bringing up February 13th is because from then till now, we've had this like, it's been pushed, right? We have never really had a chance to discuss this in detail, this one, because it's always been postponed, because you guys have been working on this. But you've responded to most of these anyways.
Yeah, I mean,
You're satisfied, yeah.
we've sent in, this is like the fourth revision that's been submitted.
Well,
Third or fourth
well, Larry has
revision.
had to kind of chase some things. Now, Larry, do you have any, you didn't mention like, as Steve was bringing up, any other ones like 5 through 8?
Well, 6, right away, the plans are not clear. Number 7, the plans are not clear.
But
Number
they're
8.
clear, that's why they were revised, Steve.
Yeah, so these have been resolved
Yeah.
already.
They're a lot
They have
clearer
been
now.
resolved?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Larry's telling
Yeah.
us. I haven't looked at the plans again.
I've been, weeding out the things that have
And
been
working with Liz and working with what,
deleting what's been.
Tom as well, so.
So really, it's just, we're dealing with
um,
What?
All right, now,
the first round.
we have do you have a copy for these guys to, because I want to be able to close the hearing, and but I want you guys to see what,
The votes will look
so you
like.
have some feedback on this? Mark, I'm giving you a chance, this is your permit. We can either go through it tonight, or if we close the hearing, we could vote on this permit next Wednesday, because we meet next Wednesday. And I'll put it on the agenda if you wish, just to vote. We're not gonna go into discussion, we're gonna vote on this, and then the appeal period starts, as you know. Okay, but if you would like to go through some of these tonight, or some of them you can't live with, or you have any comment on them? Kirk has worked hard, this is a draft. Kirk, do you have any comments on this? This is your permit, and this is based on a summary. This is looking at what? Comments from Larry, of which there are about 5 of them. Now, Liz, you guys, I'm a little confused, this is your box. A lot of times on plans, it's clear about which revision. I'm looking at this little box, the way you guys do it as a firm.
Yeah,
So that means the revisions to this plan started, because these have to be kind of listed in the COV as well?
Those are,
He's got them in here.
yeah, those are all.
All right. So can you just check to make sure Kirk, you're going by this little box, right?
Yeah, that, I took it from that.
I mean, he's got 3/27, which is the last draw date. so-
327,
Yeah.
okay?
And that's what's referenced in here.
So that was the last one that I sent, I'm looking at here.
Yeah,
And I
that's
see,
when
but I'm
this-
seeing that Tom, so Mr. Ryder approved it on the 28th, because there's a little note here.
Well,
So
you
why-
reference the date on the plans, not when he signed them.
Okay, so the reference is the 27th. That's the last one?
yes,
There's no other, that's the last one?
yes,
So that's accurate?
yes.
Okay. Okay. And that's in the little box, okay? All right, so the board can look at what Kirk is, and he's used kind of the template that we have used in the past. And again, Mark, what this does is reference, your plans, and also references, Larry, do we usually reference your comments?
Yeah, those should be.
Oh, here they are, they're in there, okay.
Yeah.
So we reference the plans, and then in number 2, comments that are contained in the memos as we went along from last fall till now. And then, so what you have to do is reference everything that has been brought in the public hearing process.
Can you go over number 10?
Go ahead.
Is it? I don't really understand what that means.
That's what. Okay?
This is the one I was talking about in terms of the compliance issues. I realize that we probably should talk about it, but this was gonna be a suggestion about how to incorporate it into a decision letter so that we can approve the project. The way I'm kind of seeing this is that these other uses that are located on the site are a zoning compliance issue. They're not tied to the previous site plan, they're not really tied to this site plan. But once we do this approval, we can reference and condition that, or just recognize that those other uses are non-compliant. In order to become compliant, for those uses in the BLI district, they would have to do a site plan review for those uses. So, basically to acknowledge that and to say that before they can do any other development beyond this point,
Beyond this one.
yeah, beyond this one, or even modification to the uses, this one and even the Bay Sales Auto, any other development or modification to the development would require that they come into compliance before we accept an application. So it'll be documented with this that there can be no more further site plan activity until they come into compliance.
Why shouldn't that be done now before this starts?
I don't,
Because this is part of the process of getting part of the site into compliance. This is.
yeah, we need a mechanism to actually, there was nothing, you see, when this came, the previous site plan had been approved and the board had, had said that everything is okay. So then they submit this other site plan, we accept it, we go into the public hearing process, and so then we discover that there are other uses. So the board can either refuse to grant approval of the site plan,
Sounds like the witness
or
protection
to approve
program.
it with a condition. I mean, it's really up to the board. I'm just putting it out there as a suggestion that I would just of the belief that you can't really, tie it to this.
I think that's absolutely ludicrous what you're doing, absolutely.
Well, it's part of weighing out, and this is what, you can go up and down, it's part of weighing out in Raleigh, and it's a difficult situation on Route 1, because you have so many, and you can look up and down Route 1, there's so many grandfathered statuses, and I think you have to also give some credit to an applicant who actually comes in and goes through the process. And, to be able to use their property in the way they want to use their property.
I'll be the
At
first
the
to
same
tell you,
time.
I want to see him grow and be very successful, and he's got a nice piece of property there, and he's got the opportunity to really shine over there, because he is on Route 1, and there's a lot of traffic on that street. And by him making it more presentable and being in compliance, it's only gonna benefit him. I think, you know what I mean? I mean, versus, I don't wanna say anything bad, but I mean, it is kind of an eyesore mark, you know what I mean? You get the chance to really shine over there, because how much traffic do we get on Route 1? I mean, a lot of people know what you do, what you're doing, you're probably doing a very good business over there, and I wish you the best on all of it. I wanna see you grow, believe me when I tell you that.
And doing very well.
Well, that's good, I'm glad to hear that, and I wanna see you grow, but I'd like to I'd like to see you make it look more presentable. Like, I know what you're saying, we're not gonna see those trees the way you're doing that building up there. But down there on Route 1, I'd like to see, like that truck with the sign on it, I don't even think that's allowed, you know what I mean?
We're looking at this, I don't think we're through with, working with the building inspector and working with.
Like I say, I
your
wanna
other
see you
site,
grow.
Mark, I mean, your other site, and this is why Kirk is bringing this up. Even your other site is not in compliance with your original permit. And we're gonna have to deal with it. It's not. You had a permit from the building inspector, and you got a CO from the building inspector with only, and from this board, right? How long ago, before my time. And for a certain, it's like anything, like Raleigh Auto Sales and Exageos, those guys have permits for a certain number of cars to sell, a certain number of parking spots, paving. They have a permit, and I think you got that permit without a ton of conditions, right? Didn't have a lot of them.
No, not that I can recall.
Yeah, and that was the previous board. I don't think they were totally stringent. And you know.
I agree with
mean,
Steve, but,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
I
but
should
that-
really,
And
and
I
you're
can
not in
understand that, that
I
was
should
back in
clean
the
it up,
day.
you know,
And you're not in compliance with that, so we're not through, I mean,
But times change, you know what I'm saying? But like I say, I can understand back in the day, you know, okay, go ahead, Mark, you know, and all well and fine, you know? But, you know, it's really grown. Like, when I came to this town, there was only 2,400 people in the town. There's over 6,000 now. You know, you grew up here.
I went to
You
school
you know how
here.
much it's
I'm a
grown.
third generation Sabri, my grandfather
Sure.
was here, my parents were here, my
Sure.
daughter was here, I was here.
But you can really shine over there, I'll tell you, and really make it look good and say, hey, well, that's Mark Savy's property. Look what he did, man. And, you know, and it's only gonna bring you more business, I would think, too, but
It would, yeah.
you know, like I said, I wanna see you grow, be successful. That's what, I wanna see the town grow.
I think the ugliest thing in that property is the dang house, but I'm so afraid to try even doing it.
Oh, I hear
Tear it
you, you know,
down.
that's another thing, but you can really shine over there, too.
you may not have to. So, may
You know,
happen-
and if
may
you're doing
happen at
well,
some
which I'm
point.
glad you are, you know, maybe you got a few bucks and make it, you know, make it look good.
I think we just, as a board, we end up trying to do it one site at a time when people come before
Well, I
us
understand that.
and try to comply with town zoning. The zoning is voted
Right,
by a
that's not,
majority of the
I
people.
understand
The
that.
zoning is voted by people in meetings, by the majority of the people. It's a democratic process. Just doesn't emanate from one board. It's not a board trying to cause people heart attacks. It's something that is a very open, public process. And people have a chance to comment on it, they have a chance to vote in a town meeting. And the problem is that sometimes the implementation of it is difficult, that's all. And we see that over and over again.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The planning board works with the building inspector in the enforcement arena. And I think now having a town planner, we have a chance for more communication and follow-up, you know, where, and that's the trouble. I mean, this town does not have a huge number of departments. For example, Ipswich, right, the planning department might have like 5 employees or something, you know.
You're the gateway to the
We have
community.
one.
Yeah. Part-time.
You're the gateway to the community. First thing you see, we come to Rogers. Mark Savy's.
Conservation has 3 in Ipswich, we have 1, you know.
And yet, that old place down the street, I had a cow out there for years, and that's all swamp. And the guy that bought it actually he's building a shopping mall there. I don't know how that happened, but.
Well, they went through the process.
Oh, the
Well,
whole,
it must be in a way over there, I don't know how they did it, but
that's Ipswich, isn't it?
that's like really close to the water.
With regard to the language, just trying to
Yeah, thank
move
you.
on
Yeah,
a little
thanks.
bit.
Yeah, okay, well, the question is, Kirk is trying to, so you understand that we have to recognize that we have some non-compliance issues on the site? And Kirk is trying to wrestle with that.
Well, I'm wondering if we should just say
Keep it simple.
that nothing in this approval shall be construed as granting approval of the, you know, the activities going on in the back of the lot.
And adjacent lots.
Or something to that effect. So, you know, just to make it clear that we're not approving whatever is going on up that hill. And then leave it as an enforcement matter for the building
Oh, for
inspector.
that matter, the lower part too.
Well,
Well, that's a
we've already
building
approved
inspector,
that.
Yeah.
That's the subject of a prior
It's in
approval.
compliance.
Well, that's a question for the building inspector to work, we're not an enforcement board per se.
Right.
But I'm just wondering, I mean, should we be considering conditioning this approval on demonstration of compliance or satisfactory,
Kirk, you've done some research, and that doesn't really work that way.
No, I mean, I was.
Well, I mean, I think we could do that.
that's where you know, it seems like it's inconsistent with what we're trying to do here if we ignore our own precedent. You know, there's a decision, it sounds like there's non-compliance, yet we're gonna continue to
Approve different projects in the
do
same
projects to,
Well, Kirk,
It'll eventually,
listen,
you know,
Kirk, 'cause
fall
I've asked him to kind of look into this.
Well, I've had trouble finding, usually when there's non-compliance, then probably the place to have dealt with that was not to accept the application until there was compliance, or to set the public hearing, so,
Well, if you can do that, then why can't you condition the decision on compliance? I mean,
yeah,
It's
except
just
that the
it's a different
compliance, the only thing is that those uses that are actually out of the way and not really visible you know, that they don't really have anything to do
Oh,
with this.
Well, that's what I
This
I tend to disagree, because we had a long discussion about the plantings here, and then we were basically told that it's more or less irrelevant, because the commercial vehicles that are parked on there are 13 feet or higher, which obstructs the view of what
Yeah,
we're
but I
trying to...
believe we should be working with the applicant and working with the building inspector to try to.
And I think that, to suggest that,
Because I don't
you know,
think. you can-
compliance with that earlier permit is, that's not denying you the access to the board to consider these things. We're asking you to comply with the, you know...
But there has to be direct specificity as to what we're asking for, and we're not, that's really not a planning board.
Well, and it's too bad, but we haven't had a site visit to determine, you know, I mean, I think the big problem here is this row of trucks that are here and other types of equipment. And I think that creates the non-compliance, if I'm not mistaken, because there's parking in that permit for, I don't know, how many vehicles does the other permit?
I'm just curious, have I ever had any complaint on that
I
property
asked
in
you
the last
what,
40
he
years?
asked what you originally,
Curious.
if you agree, and you come in and you get, it's like a used car, anybody,
Yeah.
anywhere, even on Route 114, when they get their permits for a certain number of cars,
Yes.
the town of Danvers can go in and say you have too many, and they can say, I mean, it's just the way,
Yes.
you had parking for, what does your permit, original permit say?
62 or something.
I think I counted that in the first row.
There are, I can guarantee you, I do not have over that many vehicles on that property. Now, I'm not talking about the landscapers and the contractors.
I mean,
I
why don't
mean,
we try to-
you know, it didn't include, if you include other vehicles, you know, it probably still wouldn't go over, but it might.
In your parking, in your own, because if you,
It does seem kind of ridiculous to go ahead and approve a modification or a second phase when you know you have problems with the first phase. And I'm not talking about the people up the hill, that's a different issue. But why can't we simply say in the decision that, you know, that he can't get started with the construction, or he can't have an occupancy permit until the town consultant, town's engineer, or the town planner certifies that all
and the
conditions
building
of,
inspector.
all conditions of the initial permit have been complied with, so.
I think given it's
you know,
the same parcel of land, that in itself suggests that it's the same
That's fine,
site.
I don't have a disagreement.
Yeah, if it was a different parcel, you probably couldn't do that.
Well, right, yeah, we're treating it like one
Yeah,
in large part,
that's
and I don't
fine.
think we
I
necessarily
think Kirk is leading
need
that
to.
direction anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so why don't we put that sort of general condition, and then figure out what the issues are.
And I know in discussions with the building inspector, he would like us to do that, because that makes his job easier.
And we could
And it's
even-
more consistent. You know what I mean? Because what happens is that you build, it's very hard for him when sites change hands and change ownership and change uses, when you go from one non-compliance to another, and I won't bring up something recent that happened, and it was very, very difficult for him. And so, if we're clear in our instructions, then it's easier, because then the expectation is clear for you and him as to what we mean. And I don't think, from what I read in the previous permit, we're not talking a huge, there isn't a zillion conditions.
No,
It was one of
I don't
the,
really understand this
It's just-
position.
well,
I know we're going
This
about
is-
vehicles and trucks and backhoes and
Well,
That's
things
to
like
start,
that.
the trees were never planted that were supposed to be.
look, it's gonna be in there, and you can have a chance to think about it. I'm not gonna get into more debate this evening, but by next, if you wanna work with Kirk, we're gonna vote on this. We're gonna have a final draft to vote on next Wednesday, or the meeting after.
right. When-
Next
well,
Wednesday.
Could be.
It could be next Wednesday. Yeah, next Wednesday, that's a week from tonight. Because normally we
So-
would show.
So we'll have two conditions, one that deals with the first phase of the development, that has to, those conditions have to be complied with, and another one that references the activities going on up the hill, which says, basically says that, hey, we haven't approved any of that, nothing in this agreement, you know, can be construed as an approval of what's going on, and that, whatever's going on, and that leaves it as an enforcement matter, which is what it
I mean, yeah, to be honest, Mark, this has been kind of unorthodox and difficult to deal with.
So, does that mean that if there's a farmer or someone that is gonna come before you for a building and he's been doing something out back for 40 years, he has to come and get reapproved for everything that's already been going on.
I'm not
This
gonna
stuff's
talk
been
in
there.
theory, we're talking about your site,
Okay,
okay?
here's what's
If
really
you have a
happening.
theoretical question, bring it up to
No
Kurt,
theoretical
or I'll
question.
meet with you. I'm talking about your permit and the conditions that are gonna be in it. And if you have feedback about that, Kurt's gonna get you a draft. I'll make sure I follow up and have him give you a draft when he rewrites. He only has 22 hours a week, that you're in tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna work on it hard tomorrow and try to get it to you soon, so you'll have it by what, tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Maybe, or even Friday.
Well, the other thing,
He's got zoning work to do. so-
Yeah, he's got, I mean, he's working on a pretty big agenda for next,
you know, we have worked with other owners on Route 1 who had similar non-compliance issues, and what we've done is worked out arrangements with them where they said that, you know, over this time frame they'll bring their projects into compliance.
several times.
And they've moved forward
But
with
the-
their
the issue
intended
is-
projects.
The issue is,
Compliance.
there is no non-compliance, as far as I'm concerned, out back. I mean, if you're saying I have a vehicle
I'm
out
not-
front that shouldn't be,
I'm not going to
that's-
digress and talk about Outback. Stop digressing.
That's what we're talking about.
No, we're not. It's gonna be, we're just saying, our approval, okay, does not give tacit approval or blanket approval for things we don't know about.
Okay.
We're only giving approval for what we know about and what we can, what we have approval for a front and we have approval for this. And we're just making sure we keep this permit confined to that. That's it.
Can I just,
We're not gonna talk in theoreticals about farmers someplace in the back of,
I like farmers,
Number
don't you?
eight.
I do, yes,
just
I
didn't know
do
if that
too,
was,
very much so.
that
we
language
ought to
correct
approve farmers,
anymore
so-
after the discussion about the roof?
They've set
Hi, Liz.
rules, right?
Totally exempt,
Sorry.
yeah.
She's asking about the roof, and I put number 8 as Larry's
Start
comment.
with that.
I did, so I might just check with Larry and see what he.
We can revise that.
We're gonna change that one, all right?
Yep.
And Kurt's gonna work, thank you for bringing that up, Liz. All right. Are there any other big ones? Mark, you made a good point, I'm glad you brought up that one, because it's a big one. That's what, I mean,
Number 9 is the signage, how to do with, that there would be no additional signage to be approved for this property without prior consultation of the planning board and consideration of the proposed signage as a substantial or insubstantial deviation from the approved site plan in accordance with condition 11 specified below. And just,
we'll just say the signage should be in compliance with the zoning.
yeah, well, I, in this case, if he were to go, it's a site, in a way, it's a site plan issue. I don't think it's a good idea for people to be doing site plans and then fail to put their sign on the site plan and then later go and apply for a sign and then just go to the building inspector when it's really should have been part of the original site plan.
Well, it's
Just
also,
saying-
Just
It's
put
a
down, I
minor-
can't have a sign, I don't care, that's fine.
no,
Oh, we
it's
have
just
to
that
actually-
the building inspector dumped, we're now the signage, right?
No, we're the illuminated sign.
Illuminated
If
sign.
it's a non-illuminated
Oh, the
freestanding
non-illuminated.
sign, he could go straight to
The selectmen, it used to be selectmen, they put it on, now, most towns, the planning board, most towns, planning board or design review advisory board does signage.
How about if you simply say that no signage may be installed without prior approval from the
That's it.
planning board, period?
That's fine.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a big, it's
You
not,
don't think any of your renters are gonna want even a placard next
I,
to their
no,
door?
I don't want to have it, I want it quiet, I don't want all kinds of, no.
well, you can, but it's not such a big deal as you think, signage is not, it's just, you can
The
look at the
people,
zoning people.
these people are so good that they don't need signs.
Because we want,
Their quality of work speaks themselves. They don't
across
need
the
signs
street,
at all.
they have some nice signage across the street, it's got good visibility, and it's important to his business, and we're all for it.
But they're not drawing people there either, I mean, that's the whole
Right,
thing
no.
about this, this is just where they put their,
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't want,
This is their-
I don't want people around.
Okay, but it could change down the road, remember.
If someone else owns it.
Right. And that's what this permit goes, this permit gets recorded and goes with the, when you will sell the property, it goes with it. Okay. Any others, Liz? Work with Kirk, and we're gonna try to button this up, all right, for next month. And Mark, for you too, we wanna button it up and vote, so that you can, at least get the appeals period, going over 20 days.
I have a couple of comments.
Thanks.
Yeah, the date's gonna change in 2 places on sheet 1.
Okay?
On page 2, you've got an extra consisting of as revised through November 20th, 2014. Right up in here somewhere. After March 27th, consisting of, as revised to November 20, 2014, needs to be crossed out.
Oh, okay.
Right, that's just a personal error, okay.
On page 3, there's a lot of, there's a missing tech review report that was on March 27
Okay.
on page 3. The town planner memos are 2014, I think.
Yeah.
There's some, you have 2015 written in there.
Do you need to reference, Larry,
Oh,
you have a summary
actually, I
of
should
your
take it out
meeting?
because I have the-
Believe me.
Well, whatever.
You, Liz, did you have that summary, I'll look at my thing, I brought it tonight.
You want me to continue?
Is that a formal document? It's a summary outline of December 19, 2014 meeting with Thomas Ryder and H.L. Grant. Is that the reference as well?
Is that what Kurt's referencing here or not?
Someone's glasses are on the floor.
That's right,
Don't step on it.
And that was in December, that should have been,
Yeah,
that should have been like December.
It says December 19, 2014
But
meeting.
that's actually,
That's not my memo.
Yeah, that's my-
yours.
that's my
county.
memo.
Should that be referenced? I'm just asking.
Yeah, you want it down in here.
yeah, I actually.
Do you guys have a copy of this? Your records, I mean, it's not, it was kind of working things out at that time. You probably weren't, that was when Tom was here.
I think near the front end of this somewhere, maybe page 3 or something, it should mention the 40 by 125, 5,000 square foot building being approved here. And associated grading, drainage, parking, outdoor parking. 40 by 125 building, I think, is 5,000 square foot. And associated grading, drainage, et cetera, according to the plans. But I look back on the plans, I couldn't find the size of the building.
Oh, okay, I was
I
just.
think that's in the
referencing site
application.
plan itself,
It is.
like,
It's in the application.
It is.
In the number 8, I can work that language out about the roof.
Is the height of the building specified? There was an elevation with the building plan, but you need to deal with,
Yeah, you put some like model buildings in your application. Do you have a height,
What was that?
your height?
Yeah, I think it's 16. I haven't actually put a deposit on a building because he said don't do it, so I did my building, you know.
Well, that's what I'm gonna put in there then. I'm gonna
And I
put-
think it's on the plans you sent them to.
Can you send Kirk an email, please, dimensions, so we can put it in the permit?
Wherever the plans are, the first plan.
So we can put it in the permit, Mark,
but height for certain.
with your engineer, can you send now that? Because I'd like to put it in the permit. The dimensions of the building and the, including the height, right?
Well, yeah, I think the height is governed by zoning.
And if you wanna put 16, if you don't know exactly, put, you know, like 16 to 18, or, because you don't know exactly, but just so, because I know in metal buildings, you know, there might be some variation there.
Yes.
we got like a spec sheet on the
About septic
building?
design.
Do you have a spec sheet on the building?
I think I have.
You gave us some models earlier in the
I
process.
gave you what he gave me, which was CAD program
And
of
then you
some.
have
But if you know now, we're down to the permit, okay? Anything you can give that he can incorporate and include, including pictures of these shrubberies,
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
make sure,
yeah, I'll
try to
get those
email
pictures,
those to,
yeah.
yeah.
okay? So the more information, then that helps the building, that helps people during the process of getting inspections to go cleanly, and it actually helps. It actually helps you during the building process.
These plans, they go way back, you know, these don't show the gabled roof, so obviously it shows it pitching toward,
Yeah, that's the
if you
original, your
would
drawings.
assume the
remember?
road, and it's got the height of both on here, and I can't read them, but
Yeah, I remember this. This is the only one we have so far, Mark, this
Mhm.
one.
there's,
Does it change?
There's others.
This shows your
Details.
sloped, flat roof.
Yeah.
Does it change much from that?
No. I gotta look. No, because that's the building.
it's
I
a
have to look at it
star,
again because I don't remember
star building.
everything. After I look it over, and I don't have.
Okay, so if you, now's your chance, if you've had more, done more research and changed things, and
Okay, it looks like 16 on the low side,
16, yeah.
and maybe 18 on the high side?
Yeah, there's
Get that right in the head,
there's
didn't
that
you?
variation.
Yeah, it's just exactly what you said.
That's your
16.
slope, you know? otherwise you don't get your drainage. Sometimes it's less, but you gotta have something.
15, 40 feet, isn't
Yeah, I mean, that's plenty to get the water.
Keep it off, keep the ice in the back.
Hopefully this was an exception, this one.
That building gonna be heated,
You
Tom?
guys wanna do it next
The
week?
building
We have
gonna be
two
heated?
Public
Yeah, yes.
hearings, and then we have,
Yes.
meeting house,
A line, they'll pull a line up.
meeting house village
Gonna get the union boys
City
down
Lane.
and yank my line up for me.
on that next agenda.
The GE union guy, they look at my contract.
What's that?
The
Okay,
GE
let's,
union guy, my,
For you.
like runs the union. the
He
GE.
only
that?
works many, yeah, because
Yeah.
you
I don't
know.
remember his name, he loves contractors. He's not around
Yeah,
here.
we're gonna do it. I just have to do it.
All right, when can you guys meet again? Okay, so the 8th, when are we gonna meet after that?
Not the following week, I hope.
Yeah.
22nd?
Yeah, the week after that, David said he could not be there.
What, the 22nd?
He can be at the 8th, the Wednesday after the 8th, and David can't be there.
No, how about the 22nd?
22nd would probably be good, okay.
Fine with me.
Fine with them.
22nd, April 22nd?
April 22nd? What?
April Fools? Are you just taking me the permit tonight? Is this a joke, April Fools? Oh, these are all just, no, don't worry about that.
We just want to give enough time to make sure that you guys can address all of this stuff. And then the agenda for next week, we have 2 public hearings and already have an appointment discussion after those public hearings. So it would be pretty late before we get to you guys.
That's all right, I'd rather get it sooner, because the sooner the meeting, the better, because in case there's any other things that, I don't know, you never know, somewhere our end or their end or whatever.
You can be first, you can be at 7:30 on the 22nd, or
Yeah.
early at 9:30 on the 8th, earliest. Because we have public hearings about warrant items that go on for town meeting in May. And we need to,
So you have a meeting next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a
22nd. We
specific-
have to go to
it was a
DOT
specific
soon.
meeting in their hearings, Mark,
No, that's not, that's,
I know,
their
but
zoning
still.
article hearings. So people may have a lot of discussion, and because I'm gonna let them discuss it, because these are things that go in the town meeting.
which zoning article?
So, well, you'll have to come to the office. and
It's
look at it.
it's being advertised.
It's not a secret, isn't it a public?
No, I'm not bringing, I can't, no.
Just not gonna
It's-
talk about it.
It's, yeah, because it's not a public hearing yet.
Oh,
It's being
It's
advertised.
been advertised.
secret.
No, it's being
No, not
advertised,
secret,
no, it's not.
advertised.
It's called state law, I can't discuss things that aren't in the public hearing.
Oh, really?
No, I can't. It's been advertised, because no, it's not open, I haven't opened the hearing yet. So,
All right, so maybe we should close this public
Set.
hearing, or do we keep it open?
we can close it and we'll do we'll vote on the COV at 7:30 on the 22nd, is that all right?
I'll make a motion to close
Is
the
that all
public
right?
hearing.
Second.
First thing, 7:30, we're gonna vote on this, you'll have time to clean it up, have any feedback, all right? And I'll work with Kirk, we'll work with the board, so we're not gonna have a long discussion, we should be able to vote on a clean document, all right?
So in the meantime, Kirk's gonna
Work
get
with
that to
Larry.
us, we're gonna iron it out, and that's gonna be the end of it.
Yeah, Kirk's, if he has
And
any,
it'll go.
There'll be no other we're not doing any other revisions to the
well, not on the
plans.
plan per se, but some of these are gonna be dealt with in the permit. We're trying to save you money, and I could make you do like more revisions. But I think you're working with us, but Kirk's
I think the
gonna,
only thing talked about was adding the trees, that's.
Yeah, it'll be a condition.
and then they take the gable
It's not
thing
gonna
off.
cost much.
Yeah, take the gable thing off, and we're giving you latitude. We're giving you latitude for what kind of building you wanna build, because you don't seem to know exactly yet. And it's hard for you to put something down when he doesn't even know exactly, right?
I can picture it in here.
Okay, but it's hard for your engineer and your architect to put something in a plan for us when you don't even know. So, okay, and that gives Kirk only has so many hours a week that he works and so many days, so he only works 22 hours a week, so in preparation for next week, it'd be difficult for him to do this as well. All right, 7:30 on the 22nd, is that right?
Yeah.
All right. That's a good idea, Kirk.
So, did we vote to close the?
No, there's a motion.
Motion to
I
close.
second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So you're closed, so the public hearing is closed. Thank you very much.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thanks, Ben.
Take care. All right, we have minutes. Larry, you have, Bill, do you have any updates?
I was just gonna go in and pass out if I could, for the warrants.
Give me a bag.
The warrant articles for everybody to look at. This is, we have a public hearing next week, this is just, I'm gonna give you handouts, just so everybody can look at it. I got one. And, you already got that.
You got one of these, right?
There you go.
Thank you.
Is it the vote?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
All right, I got it. And then-
And the other one?
That's
And
the
three are
overlay.
the angles.
And this is the overlay map.
All right, these are the drafts for, okay.
There's some maps for it.
Oh, this is
Seems like.
not reflecting my.
No, not yet. I was waiting for Judy's, Judy's gonna get back to me. So I
Okay,
haven't
just,
even-
well, just so the other members of the board know, today I sent, I made a lot of suggested changes to the text, and I sent them to Kirk, and that's not what you have here, so.
Oh, in the vote?
Yeah, and I haven't gotten.
For, no, for the overlay district.
Where's my overlay? Kirk, where's my overlay one?
Oh, it should be, I just passed them,
Are they both here?
they all came that way.
I mean, I substantially revised it, so, you know,
All I got was use variance.
just keep that in mind. when
I
you
can
look at it.
actually, make the revisions,
Yeah, why don't-
but I
here's
need
the
to
overlay.
get the, I wanna
Yeah.
get Judy's first, but I wanted to give everybody a chance to see what we're doing, I mean, in terms of, just get ideas, or let people get prepared.
Oh, sure, yeah, right, I mean,
Because,
this'll.
All right, so try to
Usually
get-
I'd be sending out the agendas.
Okay, well, I just wanted the other members of the board to know that I think I revised it substantially. I mean, it says, it's the same thing, it says the same thing.
Okay. Okay, I know that, okay.
Yeah.
I don't wanna get into much.
Okay.
discussion.
Um,
It's
so-
very important, as we know as a board, to, you know, check your emails.
Well, it would be I'm
And
sorry.
I'm just saying to read these things up.
I mean, I think maybe it would be a good idea just to send what my work to everyone, just so by
Can we,
next week, people
but
can.
is that's deliberation though, isn't it? I mean, are we,
Prohibited from doing that because we're having
I don't think we can do that.
Sure, you're sending something that will be
It's info for the
considered.
meeting.
No, but it's not info, it's actually, you're making comments on info that I've sent out, and it becomes a deliberation when other people begin to read it, and it affects their decision, so I'm just saying, that's my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying.
Ask Judy on that, please.
Okay, I can,
Thanks. Let's leave it at that. Ask Judy.
I mean, I think, no, we can send a draft of something for other people to consider and discuss at a meeting, that's the deliberation, when you actually sit down. I mean, I don't think we have to work totally.
Right, there's no reason I have to
dark
look
like-
at it for the first time when I sit down with you.
Yeah, right, I mean, I don't think that's a
I mean,
problem.
that's how I often do it, but,
It's of crucial importance for this meeting, for the board to be prepared, that's all. with all-
Yeah, right, so I
right.
think.
I think that's all you're doing.
I'll
It's
send
just-
it to everyone.
I'm comfortable getting it,
I
if
just,
that matters.
okay.
Well, if you have any,
I'm just saying that I probably shouldn't have handed it out. I was only doing it trying to circumnavigate what I would usually do tomorrow, but I have to actually deliver to you and Jean, so I just wanted to give everybody a copy. That's
all right,
I was
let's
trying
leave it
to
at
do.
that.
That's
I
all
want to
was trying
discuss, thank you, Cliff, all you had to do is, it's a draft, and it is a draft.
It's just to let it.
To be discussed at the meeting.
It's a draft, and a draft means it's input from various people to come up with a good draft. Right.
And I wanted to make the changes, I haven't had a chance to make them yet. I haven't gotten Judy's back yet, so.
No, I understand that, I
It's
understand.
just,
Okay, any other planner updates? That's-
no, I just need, time sheet is due tomorrow. And, minutes.
Is he okay or?
I'll check. I'm not even-
All right, these are minutes for the March 11th, I believe. Is
Yeah.
that correct? You have them?
Yep.
Everybody have them? Gene?
No,
Yes?
no, I think I left them at home.
Did Gene have them?
No, I'm sorry, you
Give
probably,
Gina-
because I did these very late, just this week, so I need to add copies.
You can really get that plan off the table.
Is this the one, is this the one going to be used on the 22nd?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the most recent one.
How many copies, do they have enough copies to sign on the 22nd?
Yeah, yeah, I brought two in here, that's the other one.
Just checking. Are we reading through these? I had one thing here. Kirk?
Yeah, yeah.
Wild Pastures Estates tripartite agreement. Laura Solaro, attorney on behalf of the applicant, notes that H.L. Graham, the board's technical engineering consultant, has forwarded a letter approving the applicant's request, now recommending that the applicant's request.
Where?
Wild Pastures Estate, tripartite agreement.
It's on page 1,
Yeah,
second paragraph.
okay.
Larry usually makes a
Yeah.
recommendation,
Thank you. Okay.
you know, based on all of the information that he collects through visits and working with the applicant. And we approve it and he recommends to the board. Is that correct, Larry?
Yes, sir.
Anything else? I got something if you don't do that.
I'm done.
On the first page,
Oh, wait, I think Peter Ogren is spelling it. Isn't it without the D, or is it?
I thought it would had a D in it.
You just check it, that's fine.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cliff, sorry.
on the first page, under that same subject, Meeting House Village, the second paragraph, the second line of the second paragraph, I think the word regarding should be regrading. On the second page, at the bottom paragraph, when you're talking about the public comments of the zoning proposal, it states that Glenn Gavin was against the rezoning, and I distinctly remember him saying he had no problem with it, so I'm not sure where you got that. Brian Hughes states that he has no problem with the rezoning. I'm wondering if you mixed that up. But you might actually want to check the videotape for that.
Yeah,
Just check the video, right?
But I remember Glenn saying he had no problem.
okay.
He made it clear, he was
Yeah, he was very
explicit.
On the third page, under Wild Pastures Estate,
Frank was against it.
Frank was against it,
Yes.
Glad
and
Gavin was for
Gavin
it.
was for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
on the third page, under Wild Pastures Estate, there's a sentence about the Baker presenting a certificate of vote to the planning board. And there's no resolution of that, like what happened, it just leaves it hanging there. So it seems to me that at least should be some information, but did we decide to table it, I think? or-
Oh, no, that was, we took a vote, yeah, you're right.
Oh, okay.
Voting information out. There's a paragraph that, I don't know what happened to it. I thought I read it.
Yeah, well, okay. On the-
Fill that one in. That's why we go over minutes. No, you've
I
had
must
it.
have just, I must have gotten.
You're somewhat
interrupted,
excused.
came back and forgot.
You're somewhat excused because you have a lot of balls in the air right now.
The next item about the cell tower, the first line, Bryant introduces the tower request. So,
No.
Okay.
The tower
Is it
report?
T-Mobile's request?
T-Mobile's request.
And then, not final.
It really wasn't T-Mobile either.
Well,
You
where-
might want to put the company that comes in, it's Crown
Crown
Castle.
Yeah.
And the next item under the 2016 budget, it says that, so-and-so made a motion, Cassiotis seconds the motion, but there's no mention of what the vote was.
And,
You gotta go into the other page.
as usual, there's a plethora of missing commas, which I
You wanna
won't go,
rewrite these for,
I won't
so
go
we-
over in detail, but I'll just give you
There's
the
no
draft.
hyphen after.
I'm not even
the
gonna take a
email
vote on
either.
it.
Oh my gosh.
All right, I'm not taking a vote on these minutes, I'm not gonna present a vote until,
You want me to just rewrite it?
because you're missing a whole paragraph. Is that okay if I don't take a vote?
No, that's
All
fine.
right.
There's
No,
no
but,
hyphen after the E on email, so.
You want to conditionally approve, subject to review of that?
No.
No,
I'm
because
gonna wait till
I just want to remember we already looked at them.
I'm gonna wait till, sorry, Kirk, I'm gonna wait till you've been busy, I know. Till I see a draft on the 8th, we'll do these on the 8th, right? Is there anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much.
Thank you for coming.
I just added Kurt a note to check on the 56 Newburyport Turnpike funds and the review account. I don't know where we are with that.
I was gonna bring that up. Wait, that was,
I don't know where it is.
way back.
Well, Kurt.
He did an escrow on that.
That was the bond, wasn't it? You were talking about the surety?
The surety on that.
We released that surety was released, that was
Is it with
associated.
Savory?
Yeah,
Yeah, we released that.
that has nothing to do with the
That's right.
technical review account funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'll make sure I reflect
Okay,
this.
that's fine, thank you for bringing that, okay.
But you get near the end and
Yeah, and with field changes, yeah, okay.
Okay.
So, but since we're talking about 56 Turnpike again, the changes that we're going to consider in the vote that we're going to vote on the 22nd, were we
That's the district, hold on.
prior to the issuance of a building permit or an occupancy permit?
Occupancy, I would say.
Okay.
Which one is it?
Now, we're discussing this prior to the issuance of an occupancy, consulting engineer shall
Let
provide.
me ask Ken on that. There's
Okay.
something about overseas, he's not happy, I think he might prefer.
Go to BP?
Yeah, can I clarify that with
I
you?
think we should, because, I mean, it's a big difference.
I
you
will
know.
clarify that when I call tomorrow, okay?
Well, building permits, it's easier to hold up the building permit.
Yeah, I
for-
think he had some comment to me and I forgot what it was.
Well, I
But
mean,
wait until you
you-
get to the
Is
occupancy permit.
this is the vote on a building permit for next week for 56?
No,
No,
22nd.
And all this has been
There's gonna be
addressed?
another draft, it's just a draft.
Yeah.
It's
I'll
the
do
first
I'll
There's
revise
a
crack
lot
at
in
it.
here.
Yeah, first crack at it. I want feedback from that and Larry, so,
I mean,
but unless you have a draft to talk about, we can't refine it, you know?
sure.
Okay, all right.
But I mean, I think building permit would certainly create more leverage.
Yeah.
I think you may be, can I clear, I'll ask.
Okay. We should. And then consulting engineer shall provide technical review report to determine compliance with prior site approval for same site. I mean, is that more or less what we're considering?
I didn't read that. That was me. What am I doing?
Well,
I
we said-
mentioned that.
Yeah. Is that what we're, I'd like to see that, yet, you know, it's gonna be up for a vote next week, I don't know how.
No, it's 22nd.
Oh, 22nd,
A
right.
certification that, or finding that, you know,
There's
they're
a
in
finding we're
compliance.
asking to make, so he's gonna have to go do another technical
Well,
review.
It could be Kirk and or Larry, you know, doing
Okay.
it, you know.
To the prior permit for that site.
Okay, because we sort of did that when we made the site visit.
Yeah.
And then he did his plantings and lined the parking lot
We need to follow up.
and did that.
We just simply need to follow up. I don't like disputes, not necessarily, not that I don't like them, I like stuff brought up, but when there are disputes in a meeting about numbers, okay, and compliance that have to do with numbers, I think you need to talk in specificity, you can't talk in like, you know, he said, she said, I like to know. You know what I mean? And you can do that by site visits or,
You know, it's been a while since I've been out there,
so.
but it's my recollection that a lot of those pieces of equipment aren't motor vehicles per se, you know, they're not
It's like a.
registered with the Department of Transportation necessarily, there's a lot of, and I'm wondering if he's counting all those different,
Well, let's go back to the permit.
I don't know what the permit says, it might just say vehicles, which would.
Well, I was under the assumption
Right.
that's the one
I
thing
think
that
it
I
does
read
say
the
vehicle.
compliance.
So I
It
think
doesn't
that's-
say
There's not
anything else.
supposed to be anything on either side.
I mean, I would
Yeah,
encourage.
there's equipment out there, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Construction equipment.
Right.
water heaters.
And then the sign, the truck with the sign on it, I mean, that's six on it, so,
That signage,
You made a-
given that it's not, hasn't moved in
no. Well, like I said, I wanna see the guy grow, I mean, it's a gateway to the community, he's got the opportunity to really shine there, you know,
Okay,
let's make it look presentable.
you made some good points tonight, Susan.
And then, and I know you asked it, I don't know how we read it up, but recognition that nothing herein shall be construed as affirmation of pre-existing non-conforming uses currently existing on the premises. You want to say something to the effect that just because we're voting on this parcel or this site, we're not otherwise,
Proving anything else?
you know, exactly, you know, no review beyond the scope of this site.
This approval is confined to
Yeah, right.
that shown on.
What's shown on Limit 2 and.
Well, you know, I don't
As a
think,
board, I think it's important to work closely with the building inspector, the zoning enforcement officer, so he knows what we're putting in, and so he gets feedback, because he's the one ultimately, or she, whoever it is, has to
you know,
follow
it's
it.
what you're saying, you can operate illegally for what you're doing.
So
you
they
know,
need
like
to
what
see
this
the
building
wording,
on,
and
and
then
that's
we don't want
wrong.
to put them in a box either, you know.
Before the 22nd, would you have a chance to run this by, Ken?
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be done a long time ago.
No, now we're to the permit. Well, no, because it's a difficult, just that going forward, that we're not, it's that whole thing about the CO versus the building permit. I know you mentioned, I just forgot. I think it's important Kirk and I, we're all on the same page,
Yeah,
because we have something coming up.
I mean, if it's the building permit, he's gonna go nutty in 90 days when it goes to
I
see
drove right in there.
the building permit, to apply for a building permit.
Like, I don't know why they
I'm
wouldn't have.
surprised, you live there, you don't go by there at all?
I'm in Dedham. But they may have to do site plan review too. Why does he have to do it if they don't?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right. Everybody's doing okay now?
Yeah. Shall we adjourn?
Yes, please. A motion to do so.
I second.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Are we off?
Steve was, or
Are we on?